Twins fans heading into Target Field this afternoon for the finale between the Athletics and the Twins as Minnesota goes for the series sweep. The Twins have won consecutive home games for the first time since April, beating the Athletics in dramatic fashion in the series opener on Monday. Matt Capps with the save for the Twins, and then Josh Willingham made the Twins walk-off winners with his 3-run shot in the 9th last night that has Minnesota looking for a sweep.
Any win you get's big, but when you can come from behind and win a game, and then our pitchers did a great job tonight keeping us in the ball game and giving us a chance to have that opportunity in the 9th inning. So anytime you can win a game is big, but when you can come from behind, it's great for the morale of the team.
The Twins now look for their first home sweep since June of last year, and they'll hand the ball to Francisco Liriano, who's in the rotation for the first time in nearly a month.
Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is brought to you by your local Northland Ford dealer. Visit your local Northland Ford dealer or go to northlandford.com. By Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. And by a reminder from Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Designate a driver.
It was a long night with a happy ending last night, and now this afternoon at Target Field, the Twins have a chance to complete the sweep against the Oakland A's. A good afternoon to you from Target Field. Dick Bremer along with Roy Smalley filling in for Bert Blyleven, who's on yet another non-FCC mandated absence. He'll be back with Twins TV in about a week. Roy, a big night for the Twins last night. A walk-off winner for Josh Willingham. He did it against the team he used to do it for.
That's right. Last year, Josh Willingham was in the middle of the lineup for the Oakland A's. As a matter of fact, he was the middle of the order for the Oakland A's. 29 home runs. And as we were saying earlier, this ballpark here, Target Field, go big, cannot hold this big fella. 29 home runs in that big ballpark in Oakland, no fluke. And last night he got a ball in the middle of the plate in the bottom of the ninth and took it out over the Twins bullpen. A game winner for Josh Willingham. And as we've been saying, target field's big, but not too big for Josh Willingham.
So this homestand started with the Twins getting swept by the Tigers, and they can sweep the A's here today, provided they get a good start from Francisco Liriano.
Yeah, Francisco Liriano struggled in his starting role early in the season, went out to the bullpen, has been much better in the bullpen. They're hoping that the problem has been somewhat solved, the problem being his mechanics get a little bit awry. He gets a little excited when he goes out there as a starting pitcher. Hopefully the stint in the bullpen has solved that to some degree, and he can come in and throw some strikes past the first inning here in his start today.
Well, nothing extraordinary about a 3-3 homestand, but it's the best the Twins can do after getting swept by the Tigers. They'd love to have a sweep of the Oakland A's here today and head out on the road trip with a 500 record in this homestand.
Games with dramatic endings for the Twins. A high drive, deep left center field.
That's a hell of a call.
Gone! And the Twins win it. A pair of comebacks that bring optimism to Twins territory. The middle of the lineup is in full swing. The double play ball has been their friend, and the starting pitching has been improved. Today, Francisco Liriano makes his return to the rotation as the Twins look to build off this week's heroics and try to sweep the A's. Twins baseball starts now. And last night's hero, Josh Willingham, of course, in the lineup today as the Twins hope to complete the sweep over the A's.
Dramatic swing last night. Great to see that big man right in the middle of the lineup start heating up.
Menard's batting order for Bob Melvin and the A's as they hope to get out of town with one win. Jamiel Weeks leading off. Colin Cowgill, Josh Reddick, Johnny Gomes, Josh Donaldson, Kurt Suzuki, Derek Barton, Coco Crisp, and Cliff Pennington.
And the GMC keys to the game involve Francisco Liriano. Keep those bullpen mechanics that calm down and look good and haven't thrown strikes that he takes out there for a lot of the first innings that he pitches. Keep those throughout the game. Let's see 5, 6, 7 calm delivery innings out of Francisco Liriano.
And the first pitch to the backstop, ball one. You see the ERA for Liriano in the very first inning he pitches, and then everything kind of falls apart after that. Strike on the outside corner, 1-1.
Yeah, it just has looked like pitching coach Rick Anderson has worked so long and hard with Francisco, 5 years really, 6 years, on getting him to calm down the delivery. He's out there in the bullpen. He gets it straight out there in the bullpen with Rick standing right over his shoulder, and he takes it out there in the first inning. And then something happens where he'll lose the rhythm, or someone will hit a ball hard, and he starts trying to overthrow it a little bit. If he can just keep that calm demeanor out there, it'll last for a while. He's got good stuff.
And a slider gets a strikeout to start the ball game. So the first pitch, as we said, to the backstop, then he came back with 3 strikes.
And when we talk about him having nasty stuff, I mean, there's a perfect example of it. That's an unhittable slider right there. When you got 2 strikes and you throw 94 miles an hour, and you throw the ball down and into a right-hander, it's hard to lay off that pitch, and the ball dives at the hitter's back foot. But that pitch does not get successful if he's not throwing his fastball over, just like that. That's what he needs to do, and it's 93 miles an hour, and that's all the harder he needs to throw. If he could start every pitch right there and work from there, he'd be as good as there is.
And there's another fastball that's over the inside corner.
And you'll notice on his follow-through, he's not landing and recoiling. It's a nice, smooth follow-through out over his front leg. And if he can just keep that stuff will take care of itself.
Fastball missing, and it's 1-2.
But that miss right there even is so totally different than when he gets out of sync, it's up and away, and for him to miss low is a great sign.
Off-speed pitch, flip foul over the Twins dugout. Beyond the significance of this start for the Twins, I mean, if they're going to make this season relevant, they need Liriano to find it in a hurry and be a consistent starter for them. 1-2. Liner over the head of Carroll. That's a fair ball into the corner. And Cowgill goes to second with a 1-out double.
This will be a little bit of a test right here, an early test for Francisco Liriano, because oftentimes what has happened is when he makes a decent pitch, here's a breaking ball that's down in the zone, gets a little bit too much to the plate, but it wasn't a bad pitch. Sometimes you have to give the hitter credit. So now, can he say, I'm still fine, I'm still going to take my same mechanics, the same plan, and keep throwing strikes? Or is he going to say, oh, that stuff's not good enough, I have to try to throw it harder, and then that's when he goes a little awry.
Down low, ball 1, and that has been a consistent problem for Liriano. His season started in Baltimore, and in his first inning of work, he struck out the side, one guy on a changeup, one guy on a fastball, the other guy on the slider, and everybody thought, well, here we go. In the second inning, Adam Jones hit a home run to the opposite field, and everything kind of unraveled after that.
And that has been the pattern. You're actually right. I remember that very well. I was watching that game, and sometimes, I mean, Adam Jones hit a good low fastball, and he just hit it out. He's a good hitter. Sometimes you have to say, fine, I tip my cap, I'm going right back in the zone.
There's a fly ball to right field. Ben Revere is under it. Cowgill setting up for a tag, and they just bluff. Revere has been instructed, don't try to throw the ball to the base. Instead, quickly hit the cutoff man, and he did a nice job there. Here's the Northland Ford defense. For the Twins, Willingham, Span, Revere, the outfielders, Carroll, Dozier, Casilla, and Morneau, the infielders, and Drew Butera behind the plate. Partly cloudy skies and a cool late May day. Last game of the month of May. And the Twins hoping to finish the homestand 3-3. 2 down. Here's Johnny Gomes. And Butera picks up the ball in front of home plate. Ball 1. Twins have so far been 11-16 in the month of May. Breaking pitch over. Started to say before, apart from the team significance of this start, individually Liriano has so much on the line. His career as a pending free agent depends somewhat on how he performs back in the rotation. Not necessarily in this start, but if he is going to reestablish himself as a reliable starting pitcher, it has to start someplace, and it's not going to start in the bullpen. It's going to start in the rotation. 500 record. 2-1. And now 3-1 with Josh Donaldson on deck.
Well, the Twins are not alone in looking for starting pitching, and Francisco Liriano's stuff is top shelf big league starter stuff, and everybody in his that might be in his career in the future, including the Twins, are looking for that stuff to get reestablished.
And a walk fills first base, and now first and second, 2 away.
You're right. His future is not going to be in the bullpen. It's only going to be in the bullpen trying to get him straightened out so that he can be the starter that everybody expects him, or expected that he would be, and still hopes that he can be. And as far as the Twins are concerned, it's vital. They are looking for this guy out of spring training. They were looking for him to be as good as he was in spring training. That changes everything in this rotation. And if he can find it here, it will change everything again.
First and second, 2 down. Here's Josh Donaldson. First pitch lifted foul and out of play. Donaldson, a converted catcher, playing third base today, and that's kind of his position almost by default. He's at the start of the year, we're hoping to have Scott Sizemore as their third baseman, but he blew out his ACL on the first day of spring training. That's why they converted Donaldson. That's why they picked up Brandon Inge. Melvin saw his team up until the last week or so play above 500 in a competitive division. But now a 7-game losing streak. 1-1. Pop back and 1-2. His third managerial stop earlier with the Mariners and the Diamondbacks. And like so many managers, former catcher.
Good manager, knows an awful lot about the game, and he's looking at his roster here in the big leagues and watching it turn over, as you were talking about last night. But he is looking at an awful lot of good young kids.
To the right field corner, and Revere makes the catch. Showing off his speed, Revere closed it off and caught it in the corner. Francisco Liriano, and Ron Gardenhire has seen his team win a game in their last at bat 2 days ago, and again last night. He can settle the issue earlier in the ball game with this Menard's batting order. Bernard Spann, followed by Ben Revere, then Joe Mauer, Josh Willingham, Justin Morneau, Brian Dozier, Alexi Casilla, Drew Butera, and Jamie Carroll.
In that lineup, we'll be looking at Tyson Ross, big 6'6", lanky young man, fastball, slider, split figure type change pitcher. Scouting report on Tyson Ross: has to keep the ball down. His ball straightens up in the middle of the zone, and frankly, that the scouting report that the Twins are looking at, he throws a lot of pitches up in the middle of the plate. So hopefully the Twins hitters can have that plan going against him. Make the ball be up in the middle of the zone.
He really struggles against left-handed batters. Spann, as a lefty, stands in, takes strike one. The Twins will send Spann, Revere, Mauer, Morneau, and Casilla up there from the left side of the plate. That's a chopper, fair down the line. Spann rounds first. He'll dig for second, and he's in with a double. A chopper right over the bag and right over Derek Barton for a leadoff double.
Well, 2 fastballs in a row. That ball right there in the middle of the zone, and that's why he has trouble with left-handed hitters. There's not enough movement and not enough location. It just too many times right there. Twins hitters have to go up with a plan, just like Denard did. See a lot of pitches, and if you get a ball in the middle of the zone, that because you will see one at least once every time at bat, maybe twice.
The number's frighteningly bad against left-handed batters. They're hitting him at a .425 clip and have an on-base percentage of .500. Corner infielder's up, and Revere drops down the best bunt he's laid down in this homestand. It gets Spann over to third base. And part of that, I wonder, Roy, isn't to get Ben Revere to be able to shrug off the bunt attempts he's had earlier in this homestand.
This one's a little bit less stressful. This is a nice job. He gets the bat head out in front, unlike what he had done in his previous attempts. And when you're kind of half bunting for a hit, with the result being the worst case scenario being that you get the guy over, there is a lot less tension in that bunt attempt right there. Good job by Ben.
Here's Joe Mauer with the infield in and Spann at third base. Down low, ball one. Bauer's average a couple of ticks below 300 now. When you look at this lineup, and the top of the lineup has Spann at 303, Revere at 300, Mauer at 298, Willingham with power and 270. Morneau's average coming up. And Suzuki just a fly out of the catcher's box to make the catch, 2-0.
I'm really kind of surprised that they're playing the infield in here with one out in the first inning. I mean, I can see when you've got a couple of pitchers on the mound where you think it's going to be a 2-1 ball game, you don't want to give up any runs. But Tyson Ross has given up a bunch. There's loaded with left-handed hitters in the Twins lineup. I think that they're going to score some runs, and I just wouldn't want to give Joe this many holes to hit at and through in the first inning personally. Bob Melvin knows something I don't, obviously, but I would suspect that there's going to be more than a 1-0, 2-1 game today.
Well, Ross hasn't really come close to throwing Mauer a strike yet. 3-0, and low again. It's a 4-pitch walk. Northland Ford defense for the A's: speedy Colin Cowgill in left, Coco Crisp in center, Josh Reddick in right, Donaldson, Pennington on the left side of the infield, Weeks and Barton on the right side, and Suzuki again behind the plate. Well, 2 men on for Josh Willingham. See if he can do what he did last night. One of the more dramatic moments in Target Field history, the second walk-off home run. And as the first one did, it turned a loss into a win. This one lashed to right field. It's a base hit. Spann scores, and it's 1-0.
Such a good job by Josh Willingham. Great job of hitting the runner on third and 1 out. You want to get the run in. Haven't seen much of this guy. I'm not going to try to hit the ball over the bullpen again. I know I'm going to get. I just need to get the run in. He got a little breaking ball in the middle of the plate. It's the kind of pitch that you can hit if you're trying to stay in the middle of the field. Let him stay right on it in the middle of the field, which is where you want to be when you're trying to drive a run in from third. If he tries to pull that ball, he's got a chance to hit over the top of it. But that's just a professional hitter doing what he knows he's supposed to do right there.
So now Morneau with runners at first and second and one away. The only out recorded on Revere's sacrifice bunt. Strike on the outside corner.
I have to tell you also that when hitters go up in the very first inning and do the job that they're up there to do, and the whole bench sees that, and it fires everybody up. Ben Revere getting the guy over, Josh Willingham having a real good at bat to right center. That gets everybody right now right in the game. Hey, we got something going. Let's do this.
1-1 to Morneau. Ross on the ropes here early. He's already given up 1 run. His lineup hasn't scored an abundance of runs yet this year. That's inside, 2-1. It has to be tough. Ross very aware of the numbers, I'm sure, and it's probably been his history that he struggled against left-handers. It's tough to suddenly snap your fingers and come up with a pitch that will get them out.
He has tried to do that. He's working with on a split finger, and he uses as a changeup. It's not perfected yet.
A liner to the shortstop. A well-hit ball, and Pennington shifted over, makes the catch for out number 2. And that'll bring up Dozier.
Good job by Joe Mauer here, recognizing right away not only where the height of the ball was not going to get over the shortstop's head, but where the shortstop is, and that's good base running, good awareness. You need to know where your infielders are, and you need to read the height of the ball off the bat. It's so easy to want to break forward on a line drive when the ball's hit hard. It's a good job by Joe there.
Those would love to get Brian Dozier going, especially since more often than not now, with Ben Revere getting regular playing time, Dozier's hitting in a more offensive position, the 6th spot in the batting order. Ryan Doman out of the lineup today, and Dozier is in it. 0 for 4 in the ball game yesterday. Hitless in his last 14 at bats.
You know, we were talking about the little base running play by Joe Mauer there. It looks like, well, of course you shouldn't go. The ball's hit right at the shortstop, but that's something that is not as easy as it looks, and you have to work on that in batting practice. That doesn't just come naturally. That's a result of doing the right work.
2-0.
Guys will take batting practice, and after they're done hitting, they'll go out to second base and they'll read balls off the bat that their teammates are hitting in batting practice and make a decision. I'd go, no, I wouldn't go. And I'd go, no, I wouldn't go. Imagining where the fielders would be, both infielders and outfielders, and the height of the ball off the bat.
That covers the inside corner, 2-1.
Well, to your point, Dick, I think Brian Dozier is going to be a good hitter in this league. Every young hitter is going to go through some streaks where the pitchers are working on him a little bit. They see video, they see scouting reports, and it's constant adjustments. But this young man's got a lot of talent to hit, and I think he will.
There's a base hit to center field. Mauer will round third. He's going to come in. And Dozier drives in the second run of the inning with a base hit to center.
That's big for that young man. He's been scuffling a little bit, hadn't had a hit in a while, and to get up there in that situation and drive in and run, get a base hit to center, which he's been working on with hitting coach Joe Bava. Stay in the middle of the field, keep the big end of the bat above your hands, which he did right there and has not been doing. And even though it was down toward the end, it wasn't exactly a ringing line drive. It's a successful at bat, and oftentimes when you're hitting in the big leagues, you just need just one thing to happen well, and it can get you started again. It snaps an 0 for 14 streak, and I remember those.
Casilla takes a strike on the outside corner. So all this concern and the math we've given you about he struggled against left-handed batters, the right-handers are 2 for 2 with 2 runs batted in. This one slapped to left. Cowgill comes in to make the catch. Well, about everything that was put in play was hit on a line, and the Twins get a couple of runs in the first.
Dick and Roy, because this is a very important start for Francisco Liriano. They all are, but the fact that he and Drew Butera have already had a couple of conversations in the dugout between innings, but the thing that we want to try and spot the most during the course of this game are the nonverbal signs that Drew gives to Francisco Liriano during the course of the game, the things that he does nonverbally behind the plate to try to get the most out of his pitcher, Francisco Liriano.
Timmy, that's so important, isn't it? Especially when you have a guy that's a little, let's say, fragile emotionally and really working hard to try to get back. I mean, to have somebody right there, shoulder to shoulder with you, and you feel like you're not out there on an island. That's you used to do that really well. That's got to help a pitcher.
It helps immensely to have your pitcher know that, number one, you're encouraging him to keep the ball down. You're encouraging him to stay square and to keep that shoulder turned. And you know what? When he just misses with a pitch, that, you know what? Hey, way to go, way to work. We're going to get right back in there and get that pitch for you the next time. And just the nonverbal signs that go along with being a catcher behind the plate can be so helpful for a pitcher and so helpful for Francisco Liriano today.
And look at that target. He gave a really good target, encouraged him with his glove to get it in there, and Frankie hit it right there after 2 fastballs on the outside part of the plate. That's, Timmy, it's just such a great observation, great point that you make. He's working his pitcher out there.
Ball 1 to Derek Barton, with Suzuki taking a called third strike on, perhaps significantly, a fastball. And we've seen Liriano throw that fastball over the plate more often than we have in any of his relief appearances or his starts. It's a swing and a miss. 94. Looked like Barton swung over the top. 1-1.
I would just encourage viewers to watch Frankie's finish on his delivery, and you can see right now that he is not hitting and recoiling like he oftentimes does. That's a pretty good delivery for a relatively violent windup, a delivery that he has, and as long as he stays no more than that, he's really got a chance, and we're seeing him right around the plate. So far, so good.
Breaking ball missing, and Butera gestures the glove out at the mound like, hey, good pitch.
Absolutely. I really think that's going to be important. But as we watch Frankie, he gets up on top pretty well, and now here he drives forward. That's a little bit more recoil than is perfect. The one we just saw there was a little bit better. But it's that recoil. It's the try to throw it too hard, stick your foot in the ground, and almost fall backwards. That is the part of the delivery that gets him in trouble. When he stays calm and out over his front foot, a lot better, like right there.
Fastball at the knees and at 94 miles per hour, and it'll get a lot of swings and misses. 2 down.
We've talked about it. Bert's talked about it. Pitching coach Rick Anderson has talked about it. Everything derives from the fastball for Frankie. And I would tell you, as a hitter, when a guy's pounding the strike zone against me with fastballs at 93, 94, it sets everything up, and I start swinging at bad sliders and bad changeups because it puts a lot of stress on me as a hitter. Watch this delivery right here. We have seen him recoil so much, but if this is perfect. Watch how still his head and eyes can be from here. Now he lands, and he's looking right at the plate when he delivers the ball. And this is the best, I would say, 1+, almost 2 innings in a row that I've seen Frankie have in a long time in terms of being consistently around the plate in the lower part of the strike zone. And it's all delivery related.
In the dirt, 1-2.
But just to finish the thought, as a hitter, when a guy is pounding the strike zone with fastballs at 94, it will cause me to be anxious and swing at those sliders and change them. If he's throwing the ball all over the place and I'm hitting 2-0 and 3-1, I lay off those pitches, and I don't know exactly why. It just happens with him.
Tapper left side. Carroll rather charges, throws, safe at first. And the first Oakland A's hit is an infield hit for Coco Crisp.
Good play by Jamie Carroll. It's too bad that throw came a little high. If that throw is low and Justin can stretch out and kind of walk off there, they get him right here. But the fact that it was high gave Coco Crisp a half a step where Justin couldn't quite reach out in front. If he is able to reach out in front, it gets him.
That's interesting. He's got a Morneau has to reach up and essentially field the ball over the bag rather than reaching out.
Rather than out in front. Exactly right. If that ball's down, they get it.
So an infield hit with 2 gone in the second. Second A's hit. Cowgill got a double in the first inning. And here's Cliff Pennington. Crisp, a threat to steal. In fact, he's stolen 30 straight successfully over the course of this year and going back to last year. Strike one. Pennington at the plate. One of the streakiest hitters for the Oakland A's. And as his numbers suggest, there have been more bad streaks than good streaks so far.
To your point, Dick, I can't imagine that they wouldn't let Coco Crisp run here if he can get a jump. And as a matter of fact, I think they would hope that he would feel like he could get one against Liriano. An Oakland A's team that's not scoring a lot of runs. They got to get as many guys in the scoring position as early and as often as they can. I think it's a good gamble here with 2 out for a team that doesn't score a lot, especially with his stolen base percentage.
Pennington hitting 9th at .202, and that's only 10 points behind the team batting average. The A's hitting just .212 as a team. And now scoring to bunt, Pennington takes strike 2.
Yeah, can I just tell you what Bert and I are? But I can hear Bert all the way from whatever golf course he's on right now. And I mean, I hate that play too. A 2-out bunt, get the guy to second base and say, "Here, Jamal Weeks, you get him in. I can't get him in from here." I just don't like that play.
I always saw Ben Revere bunt with 2 outs for a base hit. Granted, he bunted it over the pitcher's head, and it landed between the mound and second base, and he got a base hit.
I'm okay with that with 2 out for a base stealer to bunt his way on and steal second base. Other than that, if you got 2 out, I say hit a double.
Pennington strikes out. Liriano strikes out the side, gives up an infield hit to Crisp, and he comes off the mound hopefully confident with a 2-0 lead. And Hassan for giving us today's carsoup.com/baseball question. What is Drew Butera's highest average at any level? Butera stands in as a 300 hitter here with Ross's first pitch headed to the backstop. 30 at bats this year, and he's hitting 300. But you can see in a full season in Class A and at Double A at New Britain, he hit over 250 at those levels. Up high, and it's 2-0. Butera getting the start behind the plate. Ryan Doman caught last night, starting this game on the bench. This to the right field corner. This has got a chance. Foul. It was only about 3, 4, 5 feet in that right field corner of foul territory. And Butera found some of it. Butera hoping to reclaim his role as the Twins' backup catcher. Started the year in Rochester with Ryan Domet filling that role. There's a little pop-up, and Pennington retreats. One away. That'll bring up Jamie Carroll. Set your compass due north on Fox Sports North. Bill Shirk and Laura Schara this week have a feature on a couple of unusual river cleanups. Watch Due North Outdoors tomorrow at 6:30 only on Fox Sports North. Tomorrow an off day on the Twins schedule. At the time Due North wraps up its show tomorrow, the Twins will be on the plane heading to Cleveland. 3 games in Cleveland and then 3 games in Kansas City. Strike on the outside corner to Carroll. Carroll got the big base hit against Brian Fuentes. They'll lead off the 9th inning. A chopper to Pennington, who's going to have to fire on the run. He does, on target, 2 down. And that'll take us to the top of the order in Denard Span.
Ball gets in on Jamie a little bit, hits him a 2-hopper to hold. Nice play by Pennington. Circles it, gets in front of it as best he can, throws on the run. Shortstop's got to be able to have the kind of arm that can throw from some funny body positions sometimes. And Pennington has been a good defensive player for the Oakland A's.
Span doubled into the right field corner his first time up. Now a 2-hopper to second. And Jemile Weeks throws him out in a quick 1-2-3 second inning. Want to vote for the Arby's Value Player of the Game? You can do so. Text the word value followed by a space in the player's name to short code 234234. Jemile Weeks will lead off the 3rd for Oakland. He taps the first pitch foul. Weeks struck out swinging to start the ball game.
Talk about throwing first pitch strike one all the time. It doesn't have to be with the fastball. That was a changeup right there. You got ahead. Now that fastball at 92 looks like about 96 after seeing the changeup on the first pitch. And it also puts so much doubt in the hitter's mind. Holy cow, this guy might throw any pitch at any time. 5 of 10 first pitch strikes. You'd like to have another 2 or 3 of them if you could. But the one thing that I will say, Frankie's been around the plate just a little bit more consistently so far in 2+ innings than than we've seen in the past. And against this Oakland lineup, frankly, you need to be. I mean, you just have to throw the ball over and pound them with strikes.
First 40 pitches, 25 were strikes, and now Weeks shoots one into right field. That's what made last night's game so hard to watch. This is a team hitting .212, and the Twins issued 9 walks. If ever there was a team you wanted to pound the strike zone, it would be this team.
Right, that's exactly my point. I mean, you got to make them put the ball in play.
Enjoy the best that Target Field has to offer with your group of 25 or more. No deposit is required for a 2012 group outing. Just reserve your best guest number of seats today. Pay only for the number of tickets you actually need. You'll be seated together. Your group's name will appear on the Target Field scoreboard. So organize your church, business, school, or sports team and call 833 Twins today. Pitch is up, ball 1. First time the A's have had their leadoff man on. Cowgill hit a double down the left field line his first time up.
And that last pitch was the fastball I hate to see from Frankie. It's the one up and away to a right-handed batter. It means that he has lost his delivery mechanics just a little bit. See if he can get it back. It's a little better.
And it's 2-0. Liriano now with 6 pitches thrown in this inning, just 2 strikes. Hey, everybody else in the staff has gotten a whole handful of double play grounders every time they take them out. Maybe Liriano could get one of those. Twins collecting double plays like grapes. They come in clusters. 3-1 game, 4 the next, but you got to throw it over the plate. 3-0.
Yeah, one real bright spot for the Twins this year is their defense in the infield has been decidedly better than it was last year, and I think the double play numbers that you just cited, the best evidence of that. They're making the plays that really need to be made in the big leagues if you're gonna win games.
And this is what we've seen from Liriano. He had 2 innings where he seemed in control, and now a leadoff hit and a 4-pitch walk. When you have a reputation like that, and Butera is going to come out to try to settle him down now, other teams would be wise to, as they say, wait a guy out, and he'll give you an opportunity to get back in the game, and that's what Liriano is on the verge of doing here in the 3rd.
Yeah, kind of typical. You gave up a base hit to start the inning. Now a guy comes up to hit a double against you against him the first time up, and there's a little tension there. Things get a little awry when there's tension.
Big swing by Reddick. Need to keep an eye on Weeks. He's very good at stealing third base, and Cowgill has some speed at first as well. And the A's, again, with a .212 team batting average, they don't have an abundance of power. They need to run at every opportunity. Butera slides to his left with the block, 1-1.
Yeah, good play by Drew. He makes that look so easy. He does such a good job of receiving the ball around the strike zone and blocking balls, and just an excellent defensive catcher. This Josh Reddick fellow here for the A's, I really like the looks of this young kid. I think he's going to be a really good player. I like his approach at the plate a lot.
Line to the third baseman. Yes, Carroll fires it to Casilla for a double play. And Weeks did what Mauer did not do.
It's exactly what we were talking about, Dick. You're right on. It's such a natural reaction to move forward a couple of steps when the ball's hit hard on the line. I don't know why it is. It just is. And now Reddick hits the ball on the line, and it only takes a step and a half that after Weeks took his lead, another step and a half, and it's too late for him to get back. Jamie Carroll did a really nice job there throwing the ball, leading Lexi to the bag. Lexi catching it on the run and doubling Weeks off. That's a good play by the Twins and a big mistake by the A's.
Here's Johnny Gomes. Ball 1. 50 pitches and 28 strikes.
you were talking about not letting a pitcher that has a tendency of Liriano to get wild and put guys on, get off the hook, and that's what the A's are, threatening to do here.
Rick Anderson's going to come to the mound here with Liriano throwing a much higher percentage of strikes in the first 2 innings and now really struggling in that category here in the third. Quick trip to the mound by the Twins pitching coach.
Yeah, and I think a really, really good one. He's going out there and he's saying, look, you were really good the first 2 innings. You were under control. You weren't trying to do too much. Let's just find that again. Nice and easy. Throw your good stuff over the plate and let your fielders make the outs. You just throw that good stuff over the plate. I've talked with Rick Anderson about Frankie a number of times over the years, and I actually asked him, I said, Rick, am I crazy, or with Liriano's stuff, would you hate it if he just threw every pitch over the middle of the plate and let his natural movement take care of itself? I said, oh, please, why don't you go talk to him? Try to convince him how good that stuff is when it's in the strike zone.
Missing outside, 3-0.
But just to finish the point, there's 2 things you can't do when a pitcher has a tendency to get wild and put guys on and go 2-0, 3-1. One is swing at bad balls. There's just no sense in doing that. And the other is run yourself out innings with a bad base running play. That's what the A's did.
Corner is called, and it's 3-1. He may not walk Gomes, but he's put Gomes in a pretty aggressive count here. And he's hitting cleanup for this A's team for a reason. 3-1. Now a fastball down the middle.
See, that's 93 miles an hour with movement on it, and even if Gomes hits that ball with that kind of movement, the odds are in the pitcher's favor. And I am a firm believer. You throw the ball over early and often and find out if your stuff's good enough, because you can't run and hide forever. You got to throw it over sooner or later. Don't be afraid. Throw it over. See if your stuff's good enough. Frankie's is.
Slider gets him. So he wobbled a little bit in the third, but he didn't break. He gave up a single and a walk, but faced just 4 men. Minnesota Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is brought to you by Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. By CenturyLink, a different kind of communications company. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Grand Casino, the best stories start here. Ben Revere to lead off the third for the Twins. They're up 2-0 against Tyson Ross and the Oakland A's. Revere dropped down a sacrifice, getting Span from second to third in the first inning. Span was driven in by Willingham. Mauer was driven in by Dozier. And Revere lifts it foul over by the tarp. 2 strikes. Whether Revere was asked to bunt or whether he did it on his own after what happened last night in the 9th inning for the 2nd time in the last few ball games, you can understand why it was important for Ben Revere to get the next bunt down, and in this case as soon as he could.
That's a great point. I think that frees him up now for the next time. It was important for him to get that runner over. You do it however you can. The manager says just make sure you just get him over however you want to do it. And Ben says, doggone it, I can run. I'm going to prove that I can get him over.
2-2 now to Revere. It'll be followed by Mauer and Willingham. I want to pass along congratulations to Twins media relations expert Dustin Morse. He and his wife brought Griffin Easton into the world overnight. At 9 pounds 11 ounces. Congratulations to Dustin and his family.
Absolutely. Happy event.
2-2. And now 3-2.
If you watch this at bat and all these pitches from Tyson Ross to Ben Revere, you get a little bit of an idea of why he would struggle with left-handed hitters. Everything has been right in the middle of the zone from top to bottom, and with very, very straight.
Revere lines it to right field. Yep. A sharp hit.
Yep, another. That one looked just like the previous 5. I mean, they all are 92 to 94, and they're all right in the middle of the zone with no movement. You see where they are low to high. They're all kind of in the middle, and that one was absolutely in the middle for a left-hand hitter. I mean, that's just happy zone for any left-hand hitter. And when you throw it there without a whole lot of movement, and you haven't shown left-handers much of any other kind of pitch, there just isn't a whole lot you can get them out with.
Here's Bauer. He walked and scored in the 1st inning. Revere goes right away. Suzuki has no chance. So Revere gets a steal at second, and he goes on the very first pitch of the next plate appearance.
That was all on the pitcher. A great jump by a speedy young man. The catcher had no chance. And you know that the catcher's throwout percentage is always kind of a funny percentage for me. There's so much about pitcher delivery that goes into that.
2-0 now to Mauer. Revere's 4th steal in 4 tries.
And you know, Kurt Suzuki, he's only thrown out 6 guys in 29 attempts, and that percentage is not very good. But I don't know a lot about the A's pitching staff, but that's got to be mostly on the pitcher. Suzuki is a good catcher and a good thrower.
3-0 when we were in Chicago last week. A lot was made of how the White Sox throwout percentage is a lot better, and even A.J. Pierzynski says, look, I haven't suddenly become a better thrower. Right. It's more of a point of emphasis on our pitching staff now to hold runners on.
We've talked about it before. The coaches have a stopwatch on the pitcher's delivery, and if it's over the threshold, they're going. And there's not a whole lot a catcher can do about it.
2 on again for Josh Willingham, who last night hit the 2nd walk-off home run in Target Field history, and the 1st since the middle of August 2 years ago. Jim Thome against Matt Thornton in the 11th inning.
Never forget that bomb.
And the end result is Thome came to home plate, one of the best sports photographs I've ever seen. And as we've said many times regarding that home run, the Twins never looked back. The White Sox were their closest pursuer, and the White Sox were never the same after that.
Yeah, that absolutely broke the White Sox. And then last night, Josh Willingham with a huge at-bat and walk-off home run just because of where the Twins have been and where they want to try to go. And that win last night was a very, very important one for him.
It was, before that, a pretty ugly ball game for the Twins. Yep. They issued 9 walks, a lot of pitches thrown, very little production from the lineup, particularly with men on base. And as satisfying as a game like that is for the Twins, you can imagine how frustrating it must be for the Oakland A's. Here's Willingham again with 2 men aboard. The bouncer foul. Willingham with a line drive single to right, driving in Span in the first inning. His 33rd run batted in of the season.
And a little bit of a different approach here on the first ball pitch with runners on first and second and nobody out than when he had a runner on third and 1 out. You can see the first time at bat going to right center to get the run in. Now he's back to a little bit more Willingham pull mode.
Inside, and it's 1-1.
I would say that until he gets 2 strikes, he's looking for something from the middle end that he can drive to his pull field, which is where he likes to hit the ball most of the time.
Ross wants to keep an eye on Revere. Mauer will sneak in and steal a base every once in a while, too. In fact, Mauer has just 1 fewer steal than Revere. Revere with 4, Mauer with 3. Inside again to Willingham, and it's 2-1. Steps off with Weeks cutting over to the second base bag.
I always felt like this was a tough thing for pitchers and infielders to be on the same page. When I was playing shortstop, I wanted to keep that guy close, but when my pitcher was struggling, I really didn't want him thinking about an awful lot of other things other than Josh Willingham right here.
2-2. Be the difference between a 2-0 ball game and a 5-0.
Very, very quickly, if the pitcher's focus wanes there a little bit because he's worried about the guy on second base, and I really wanted to remind the pitcher if I felt like he was watching him too closely, I'd watch the runner. I wanted to let him know if I thought there was danger, but I wanted to concentrate on that hitter. It could very easily be 5-0 instead of 2-0.
And now 3-2. Just looking at first base, Barton is playing behind Mauer about 25 feet off the bag. So if the Twins send the runners here, very likely there wouldn't be a play on Mauer at second base. They'd have to try to make the throw to third base and try to get the faster runner.
I'm just thinking they won't, that Gardy would not send them here, and he might, but I'm thinking 3-2 and nobody out. Well, I'm wrong.
It's one hit down the line and a foul ball. Willingham held at home plate thinking it was going to hook foul, and then it didn't hook. It just landed foul about 3 feet in foul territory. Yeah,
my concern about that, if he hits this same ball right out to third baseman, it's a triple play, and you know, you got Morneau coming up next. I think the reason to send the runners is because, again, I don't think that this pitcher's got anything really to strike Josh Willingham out with. So I don't think there's a big risk in swing and a miss, but I do think there's a risk at line drive at somebody, and so it really just depends on the manager's gambling nature about whether he wants to start the runners.
Managers tend to gamble more when they've got a lead than when they're behind.
Yeah.
Another 3-2 to Willingham. Runners go again, and the pitch grounded foul. Willingham, for his part, 160 at bats on the season, and he's only grounded into 3 double plays. And really, the only one player the Twins have with an outlandish number of double plays is Mauer, and he's grounded into a dozen.
Yeah, 2 very different kinds of hitters, obviously. Josh Willingham hits a lot of fly balls, hits a lot of long line drives, and Joe peppers the ball around the infield, so he's going to hit into more double plays.
Runners go again, and there's the strikeout pitch, and Revere is thrown out at third. So Ross does strike out Willingham eventually, and Revere tossed out at third base. And Morneau will hit with Mauer at third base.
That's the best fastball that Tyson Ross has thrown. It's one fastball that I've seen that had a lot of movement. First one today that really, really tied up a hitter. And that one did tie up Josh Willingham and shocked the heck out of manager Ron Gardner.
The Twins need a pick-me-up from Morneau. Outside, ball one. Morneau was first time up, hit a line drive near second base. Pennington shifted in the neighborhood of where he is now, was able to catch the line drive, hit right at him. One and 0. And with first base open, it might be that having been given a bit of a reprieve with a strike him out, throw him out, they'll just fill first base with a walk here and go after Dozier.
You're absolutely right on, Dick. If they've got any kind of sense at all, they don't intentionally walk Justin, but they throw the ball around the perimeter of the zone, see if they can get himself out. If he goes to first, that's just fine.
3-0.
There's a perfect example. A little 2-0 slider that he didn't have a whole lot of heart about getting in the strike zone. And I would not throw this ball over either.
Oh. High and fairly deep to center, but out there is Coco Crisp to end the inning. Morneau green lighted on 3-0. The Twins get a single and a walk, but do no scoring in the third. World Championship flag. Our AT&T trivia question this afternoon: when Kirby Puckett homered in Game 6 of the 1991 World Series, who was the next scheduled hitter? Who was on deck with maybe the best view in the house? We'll answer that later on with Josh Donaldson leading off the fourth for Oakland, taking ball one. And Liriano, who wobbled significantly in the third, would love to come back here in the fourth and start pounding the strike zone again. 2-0. 3-0. Strike. Somebody asked me the other day about Liriano. The analogy I used, maybe a lot of people can't even relate to it anymore. You know, late at night when you're maybe trying to listen to a ball game on the radio and the signal comes in for a while and then it fades out for a while. You're trying to pick up a station maybe in Chicago or something like that. Dozier gets the ground ball, flips to first, one away. And it's been kind of like that for Liriano this year. He's there, and then you go over a hill, and he's not there. Up here in the booth with Bert's circle guests, even though Bert's not here, Marina and Eric Krinsky, and they're on their honeymoon, got married on Sunday. So
congratulations.
We offer you our congratulations in an inning up here in the booth. One down in the fourth inning, and Kurt Suzuki will hit.
Another analogy I would use for all the golfers out there, Dick, is if you can imagine swinging the golf club pretty well, you've got a pretty nice round going, then all of a sudden you step on a tee and you know what, I'm really going to kill this one.
Right.
I'm really going to hit this farther. And how many times we as golfers say, why do we hit it straighter more often and usually longer when we're trying to swing easy?
Right.
Then we try to swing it really, really hard, and it's a disaster. That's kind of the way his delivery goes.
There's a high fly to left center. It's hit pretty well. Span going back, and on the track makes the catch, out number 2. With 2 gone here in the fourth. If you act today, you can get a steal of a deal when the Twins host National League Power Philadelphia on Wednesday, June 13th. For a limited time, you can get home plate view tickets for just $26. It's a deal against the Phillies. It's available by logging on to twinsbaseball.com or by calling 800-33-TWINS. And while you're at it, check out some of the great ticket offers for upcoming games at Target Field. The way it looks now, by the way, since we showed his big home run here earlier, Jim Thome, the Phillies' hope anyway, will be activated before they start playing interleague baseball and start playing with a designated hitter, as they will here in Minnesota. So we're hoping that's going to be the case. We don't necessarily want Jim to hit any tape measure home runs against us, but it would be great to see him in uniform again. There's Derek Barton taking a strike. We will not see Roy Halladay pitch in that series. Halladay's on the shelf now with a strained, see if I remember my Latin, latissimus dorsi, I believe is what he strained.
I have mixed emotions about that. You hate to see a truly great pitcher not able to pitch, and you'd love to watch him pitch, and you just get a chance to see him in person, which we don't here in the American League much. But if you're a Twins hitter, you certainly aren't sorry to miss that act, I'll tell you.
Liriano, after some strike throwing issues early in the inning, has a 1-2-3-4. Dozier bunts it foul over the Oakland dugout. Dozier trying to bunt his way aboard. players, Dozier among them, work very hard on bunting, yet we've seen some of the worst bunting we've seen in a long time. Now a little roller to short. Pennington slings it over to Barton, one away. That'll bring up Alexi Casilla. A liner to left his first time up. Kansas City leading Cleveland 5-3. The Twins play the Indians, their next opponent, after tomorrow's off day, and they won't have to pitch to Travis Hafner. He's getting his knee scoped. And that's the subject of our Sanford Health injury report. Hafner's had some knee issues. The DL time period moving back to May 24th. This one to the gap in right center field, and Casilla's got an extra base hit. Cut off by Reddick, and Casilla will hold up with a double. So Casilla hit the ball fairly sharply in his first at bat in the first inning. Now pulls it to the gap for a double.
Good swing by Lexi there. Again, another ball right in the middle of the plate. If you watch where this is, right in the most left-handers' wheelhouses, and he finds a gap with it. I actually was looking for Lexi to try to go to third with one out there, but actually the Oakland A's set up a pretty nice relay, got the ball back in fairly quickly, and he probably made the right decision. But with one out, that's a real good gamble to make it a close play at third. Even if you're out, not a bad gamble, but you can't be out by a lot.
Changes everything if you make it, because the A's very likely going to bring the infield in. They're already down 2-0, and they brought the infield in the first inning. One strike to Butera. Hit a pop up to short his first time up. Butera, and then if he doesn't drive Casilla in, Carroll will have a chance. That's hit in the air to left. Cowgill waits, and that's out number 2.
There are base running plays that you make and don't make depending on the situation in the game and the number of outs. It's okay to get thrown out of third base with one out if it's close. That's a good gamble. Never okay with 2 outs. The old adage, you don't
or
make
none out, right?
Or with nobody out. And likewise at second base with nobody out and 2 out, pretty good gamble to make it, even if it's a close play. Try to make it to second base, but not with 1 out. The manager can do other things with 1 out. So all those things go into the strategy in baseball having to do with base running.
Here's Carroll. If Dan Gladden hadn't run to second base leading off the 10th inning of Game 7 of the 91 World Series, we'd still be playing.
Right. That was a terrific play by Danny, and a really, with nobody out in that situation, in a close ball game late in the game like that, a really, really good gamble.
1-0 to Carroll. Now Carroll, that type of player, he's a cerebral guy. He would think about something like that before his at bat. But that's part of your job as a hitter too, isn't it? I'm leading off an inning. If I get a flare down the line or something like that, I'm going to try to go for 2.
Absolutely.
1-1. And now 1-2. Ross gave up a couple, stranded a couple in the first inning, ran into some trouble in the third.
I like this kid's arm, and you can see the innings where he pitched well. The ball was moving a little bit better. He had it down in the zone, but it hasn't been there consistently. That's where he's been most of the time, is from mid thigh to stomach.
2-2. One hop skipper to Pennington. And Carroll retired. Casilla left the board. On to the 5th. It's 2-0 Twins.
Laudner, and as Francisco Liriano goes out for the top of the fifth, we've been talking today a lot about the non-verbal communication that goes on between the pitcher and the catcher. Bert Blyleven talks about it a great deal. There's communication that goes on with the pitcher and the catcher in the dugout, out on the mound, and then there's a great deal of non-verbal communication that goes on between the pitcher and catcher to encourage him, to make sure that he's not alone out there, that he doesn't feel like he's standing out on an island. And it's working pretty good, Dick and Roy, between Drew Butera and Francisco Liriano today.
So far, so good. Thank you, Tim Laudner. Coco Crisp leading off the fifth, taking ball one and ball two. And now Liriano with 68 pitches thrown, 37 strikes. And again, he's having a tough time throwing strikes to the first batter of the inning. 3-0, and Crisp is the base stealing threat he wants to keep off the bases.
It's a very important inning, I think, for Frankie. The fifth inning, he's got a lead. He's got a chance to get a win for his club, get himself back in the good graces from a starting pitcher standpoint. And I've seen this a lot. I think the fifth inning is such an important inning in a pitcher trying to get 5 under his belt and then go from there. I would anticipate if he can get through this inning, he has a much easier sixth inning. It's just there's something about the fifth.
3-2, and a called third strike. So Chris looked at 3 balls, then he looked at 3 strikes.
And again, it's an example of Frankie's stuff. I mean, he's seen 5 pitches. Now, why would you take that pitch? And it's just because it starts off low, you think it's going to sink, and it just is good. Fastball just keeps riding in there and stays knee high. It's a good pitch.
Fox Tracks brought to you by Window Concepts of Minnesota. Now Willingham comes in, and for all his difficulties throwing strikes, suddenly there's 2 outs, nobody on in the 5th inning. And we'll get to Jamal Weeks here.
The last at bat, kind of a punctuation to what I'm saying, talking about throwing strikes and letting guys swing the bat. When you've got good stuff, big league hitters are going to hit some hard, and a lot of them are going to be at your teammates.
High ball right field, and there's a quick third out. 5 shutout innings so far on 8 pitches. Liriano has another 1, 2, 3 fifths.
Try to complete a sweep of the Athletics, but right now we're in the Minnesota State Lottery winner's circle with a couple of graduates from Fergus Falls High School. They're here with their graduating class today. Not a bad way to graduate on Friday night. Lucy and Ryan from Fergus. How about a graduation gift of $100 in scratch-off tickets from the Minnesota State Lottery?
Sweet.
Can you two figure out a way to share them? Did you collaborate on the sign?
No, it was all me.
Sounds like you're out of luck, Ryan.
Well, I'm her boyfriend, so I got to get something right here.
Well, you'll get circled. How about that?
Yeah.
All right, so congratulations to the senior class from Fergus Falls High School. Dick and Roy.
All right. Fergus Falls, home of the Otters. The world's largest otter. Fergus Falls, a little bit south of Elizabeth and Earhart, Minnesota. Denard Spann leading off the 5th inning. And a 1-1 count from Tyson Ross. 2-1. What little difficulty that Ross has run into since the 1st inning, he's been able to get out of. 3-0 is the count now, we're told. And a strike. Spann doubled down the right field line and scored in the 1st inning.
If you look at this pitch, that's indicative of where Ross has been. See, right in the middle, those middle squares.
And Spann ready to take first base. Instead, it's a full count.
So he hit the inside middle square of the 9 of them that Fox Track showed us. He hit the outside middle square. He hasn't been too good with hitting the lower squares.
All in to block. There's a high chopper over the mound. Pennington scoops it up, fires, got him. Good play by Cliff Pennington.
Terrific play. We talked about the body positions from which a shortstop will find himself needing to throw and get something on the throw. Here's a fast runner. He has to short hop this ball and get it out of his hand all at once and put something on it. That's a terrific play. Denard's getting down the line. Short hop, throw on the money. Terrific play by a good shortstop.
All right, 1 gone in the 5th. Here's Ben Revere. Laid down a sacrifice bunt and singled to right center in the 3rd. Bunt's foul, trying to bunt for a hit. 1 strike. If the result of Revere struggling with his bunting encourages him to do more of it, I'm not sure that's going to be a bad thing. I think if anything, the Twins want to see this young man put the ball on the ground by whatever means. If it's a bunt, fine. If he chops it in front of the plate, that's fine too. What they don't want to do is have him hit deep fly balls for Ben Revere. Those are going to be outs.
Well, it's exactly right. And the 3rd baseman's playing in on him right now, but the 1st and 2nd baseman are back far enough. And that's another issue that he has. There's just pitch selection that at which he chooses to swing. He really wants to slap the ball, as you're suggesting, Dick. Hit it on the ground, hit it to center and left field. And you can't take a 93, 94 mile an hour fastball in under your hands and hit it that way. And so you have to have a plan at the plate. You go up there and say, my strength is getting the ball out over the plate and hitting it hard the other way. And I'm going to take a fastball inside. I'm just going to take that pitch. And he's young. He will learn that you have to go up there until you get 2 strikes and get the pitch that you are going to be able to hit best.
I don't believe Joe Mauer has seen a strike yet. I think he got a 4-pitch walk in the 1st, another one in the 3rd, and the first pitch here in the 5th inning was about 2 feet wide. Now, the bases are empty. There are 2 out. If you're ever going to throw him a strike, this would be the time to do it.
This is that, yes, absolutely, and especially with Willingham and Morneau, who are swinging the bats well. I mean, you got to pick your poison here. With 2 out, you got to throw it over to Joe.
And he can. 11 for 11 outside the strike zone to Mauer.
You know, I'm going to tell you something. This could put you in a slump. You see this many balls. I mean, you don't get to swing it, and you know you're looking at it, and it really can. I mean, it won't put Joe in a slump. He's too good. But
a strike, and he takes it 3-1.
It can make you lose some aggressiveness.
Paints the corner to finally hit the strike zone.
Joe's going to get a good one to hit here. Oh, just wouldn't throw it to him.
So his 3rd walk, and Willingham will come up with a man aboard and 2 out.
Again, that's what we've been talking about from Tyson Ross. Pretty good fastball, but pretty straight, especially when it gets up there. And you look at the location of the pitches. He's trying to go away, and one he missed down badly. There's only one pitch that he really made a pitcher's pitch. Everything else was not even close.
Willingham shot a single, driving in a run in the first inning, shot it into right field, and then he struck out in the third. Twins had a chance in Willingham's at bat to break the game open. The Twins sent runners Revere and Maurer, who were second and first. And on a 3-2 pitch, Willingham swung through a pitch, and Revere was thrown out at third, and that was virtually the end of the threat. 1-0. That one's gone.
Yeah, we'll see you.
That one is long gone.
Yeah.
Home run number 10. He's driven in 3 of the 4 runs this afternoon, and it's 4-0.
Well, he hadn't been swinging the bat all that well before last night, but we've seen so many times when a home runner hitter hits a home run, they start coming in bunches, and that ball was juiced right there. What a great swing. Look how he swings his hips into a closed front leg. That creates the torque that generates that power. This ball is way back in the second deck. One of the longer balls we've seen hit, and there was no doubt about that.
And now Morneau. Bouncer up the line, 1 strike. Morneau 0 for 2. A liner to short and a fly ball to center. Willingham ended up hitting at 417
here's the anatomy of a power swing. Watch his foot land square, and he plants the heel. Now he turns into that square front leg, and that's what creates the torque. Justin gets hit in the leg. He looks like he's okay. Just don't want to see any more limping or anything from Justin Morneau. I just give him a month or two of total good health. That would be nice. But just finishing on Willingham, that was just such a picture perfect, prototypical power swing from a real power hitter. There was no spinning out of the hip, no spinning of that front leg, which takes the power away. It was that drive into a square front side that creates that.
Fly right center field, crisp over in the gap. Dozier is gone on 1 pitch. Morneau left the board, but Josh Willingham, a 3-run home run to win the ball game last night, and a 2-run home run in the 5th to double the Twins' lead. be the bottom of the 8th. And then last night's heroics by Willingham on the bottom of the 9th. Hoping there isn't any late inning suspense here. Just a nice methodical 5-6 run win would be nice. 4-0 so far, and Colin Cowgill leads off the 6th for Oakland. 75 pitches for Liriano. 42 strikes, 33 balls, 5 shutout innings with 3 hits allowed.
And he's got good enough stuff today that you will get your wish, Dick, if he will just throw the ball over now for the next few innings that he's pitching. A 5-6 run win is probably in the cards.
Well, maybe it's because of his increased confidence today. 5 shutout innings against whomever doesn't make any difference. It's got to boost your confidence somewhat. But his tempo, his rhythm out there is so much better.
And
gets the ball from Butera.
Yeah, it's not going to be perfect all the time. I mean, this is a work in progress. He has to come a long way back from where he was when he got sent to the bullpen. You can't expect anybody, even in the big leagues, to be as off kilter as he was and come back and say, okay, now I found it, now I'm perfect. He's not going to be perfect, but this is a pretty good step in the right direction.
This one hit to center. Span has it almost sliced back to him a little bit. 1 down. That'll bring up Josh Reddick. Our AT&T trivia question, flashing back to the 1991 World Series, Game 6, and yeah, it was Chili Davis who was the on-deck hitter. Now the story goes, Kirby told Chili during the inning break, look, I'm going to get a double, you knock me in. And Chili used some choice words to strongly suggest that Kirby just settle the matter himself. And that's exactly what he did. Got a hanging changeup and blasted it. The Twins won Game 6, and thanks to Jack Morris's heroics, won Game 7. Chili was Josh Reddick's hitting coach for half the year last year at Pawtucket, Boston's AAA club.
Chili likes this young man an awful lot, and I can see why. I mentioned earlier in the ball game that I really like his actions. I love his approach to the plate. He's an aggressive. He's outfielder. He's fast. Has a good arm. Aggressive in the outfield. It looks to me like he's going to be a really, really good major league player.
2 strikes to Reddick with 1 gone in the 6th. And Liriano bends the slider, gets a swing and a miss, 2 down. Chili Davis hit 29 home runs during the regular season, couple more in the World Series. A switch hitter, of course, primarily a designated hitter. I remember when one of the games in Atlanta, the Twins were really struggling, and they put Chili out in the right field. Shane Mack was struggling, and of course, you didn't have a designated hitter. And Chili played 2 years for the Twins, and then as I talked with him this morning, I was surprised to find out, because I remember when he came to the Twins, people thought he was kind of at the tail end of his career. He played 8 more years after he left the Twins. 4 in Anaheim, a couple in Kansas City, and a couple with the Yankees. 1-0 to Johnny Gomes.
He could hit.
And Chili and I go way back to the mid-'70s and his first professional stop in the Midwest League for the Cedar Rapids Giants. 2-0 to Johnny Gomes. Butera to the mound. And whatever Butera said, he punctuated it with a pat on the shoulder.
I think that trip was again, you've got good stuff. You just got 2 quick outs. Let's get it back together right now. Get the mechanics back. Slow down. That's such a good trip by Drew. That's what Timmy Loughnane was talking about earlier, about how a catcher can really work his pitcher, both his emotions as well as his mechanics. That's like being a pitching coach there right on the field. It doesn't cost the manager a trip to the mound.
Gomes up there with a 2-0 count, and it looks like he's been looking for a fastball. It still hasn't come. 2-2 with a couple of sliders snapping over the plate. And a third one gets a swing and a miss. 11 in a row sent down for Liriano. And he's got 6 shutout innings. Well, a step forward to be sure for Francisco Liriano, as it looks like his day is done. 6 shutout innings. He exits the game with 11 straight batters retired. And as effective as he was, you can imagine the Twins want to A, get him out of the game on a high note, and then B, allowing for the fact he's just been pitching out of the bullpen for a month, not overextending it.
Both of those reasons, Dick, right on. So we look at the new A's pitcher in the game, Andrew Kerrigan, and but what a good job by Frankie and a good move by manager Ron Gardenhire and pitching coach Rick Anderson. He's thrown Frankie threw 88 pitches, did a good job, got him 6 innings. Let's leave on a high note. Let's start stretching him out gradually.
That they were 6 shutout innings is frosting on the cake. Yep. The Twins needed some innings here today. The bullpen's been pretty wiped out. Glenn Perkins has pitched 4 out of 5 games. Casilla flares it foul. Brian Dunsing took a line drive against his ankle. He said he's fine, but the Twins would rather not use him. Generally, the Twins could use a light day today for the bullpen. Tomorrow's an off day. And then the Indians await, and they are very vulnerable to left-handed pitching of any kind. And so you'd like to be able to save Perkins and Dunsing in that series. It's the pitch to Casilla very high.
Pitch before that, 0-2. Really a great pitch. You come up and in hard like that, 0-2. You get to 1-2. It sets up a whole host of pitches, and then he couldn't throw. Then he couldn't make that pay off.
Half swing. Casilla went 1 away. And it'll get Butera to the plate. CenturyLink high-speed pitch for the starters. Liriano, I saw a 94. I'm not sure if he got above that or not. And both Tyson Ross and Liriano each hit 94.
What a difference in 94, though. Francisco Liriano, 94 with movement, with 2 other pitches that he was throwing for strikes. Tyson Ross, 94, pretty straight. Didn't really show the Twins hitters, much of anything else other than straight 94, mostly in the middle of the plate. So there's 94, and then there's 94. And we'll take the 94 we got from Francisco Liriano today every time.
Butera pops another one up near the Twins dugout. And caught by Barton, out number 2. That'll bring up Jamie Carroll. Carroll with a couple of grounders to short. Alex Burnett warming up. He apparently will pitch next for the Twins. Two in the first for the Twins, 2 more in the 5th. Willingham has driven in. Well, he drove in all 3 runs as it turned out last night, and 3 of the 4 runs here today. Two strikes.
It's an effective 3-4-5 when you go left, high average and on base hitter, right, big time home run hitter, left in Morneau. We're talking about Maurer, Willingham, and then Morneau, who can do just about everything in terms of average, both average and power. And so much of the time, a manager wants his best hitter for average hitting 3rd, and wants his second best hitter overall to be hitting 5th. Then you put a guy in their 4th hole that can hit a lot of home runs if he can get pitches to hit, which is what your 5th hitter does for you. And if he doesn't pick them up, the 5th hitter can.
Kerrigan has a 1, 2, 3, 6 innings.
Of the game starts with Josh Willingham in the first inning. Lines a single to right center with one out, driving in Denard Span, and then it's Willingham again with an absolute bomb in the fifth inning, a 2-run shot to give the Twins a 4-0 lead. After that, it was Frankie Liriano. 6 very strong innings, had all 3 pitches working through a lot of really good pitches. Only struggled with his control very few times. And you can see how important it is to his teammates that Frankie get back on track. Real good outing for Francisco Liriano. And Alex Burnett now takes over in the 7th inning to try to close the deal on the Oakland A's. And first sweep of the season here at home, I think, for the Twins. Am I right, Dick?
First 3-game sweep, I believe. Yep. You're right, yes. Josh Donaldson, Kurt Suzuki, and Derek Barton will hit for the Twins, or for the A's, rather, against Burnett. And a fastball on the outside corner. Because of the 6 innings that Liriano pitched, Ron Gardenhire can go to his bullpen out of choice rather than necessity. And there simply haven't been enough games this year where that's been the case. And he can use the relievers that he wants to use. He doesn't have to, right now at least, match up people, lefty, righty, and all that. He's got a 4-run lead, and he'll trust Burnett will throw strikes and get through the 7th inning. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
That's exactly right. Giving the manager an opportunity to use who he wants to use in the 7th, 8th, and 9th here, rather than who he feels like he has to, makes the next series in Cleveland very much easier for the manager.
2-2. Full count, Suzuki on deck. Liriano ended up walking 2 men. Twins as a staff walked 9 A's batters in last night's game. Popped up. Morneau retreats. Casilla in short right field makes the catch, 1 away. Suzuki to the plate. You can help decide who will be the next Fox Sports North girl. Log on to foxsportsnorth.com. Click on the homepage banner and cast your vote for the next Fox Sports North girl. Suzuki called out on strikes in the 2nd, hit a fly ball to center in the 4th. Kansas City leading Cleveland 5-3 late in the ball game at Progressive Field. The White Sox keep marching on. They're leading Tampa Bay 4-1 in the 6th.
Adam Dunn's resurgence has really helped the White Sox, as has Rios swinging the bat better. But Paul Konerko has just been unbelievable.
Yeah, announced as Player of the Week last week,
and deservedly so. One of the most dominating stretches by a hitter I've seen in a long time.
Now, when you were playing, take a look at the American League Central. When you were playing, there were a few players, Reggie Jackson, who struck out 100 times a year. But there was a stigma, wasn't there, attached to that? Striking out 100 times? I mean, players didn't want to do that. There's a foul pop down the right field line, and just barely off the playing field, and Revere jumped up on the short fence there to keep from running into the fence. You know, and Harmon Killebrew would strike out 100 times. There were power hitters who would do that. Did you ever think there would be a player considered with Revere acrobatically going over?
2 pretty good efforts there by Casilla and Revere.
Did you ever think you would hear of a player having a great comeback year, and yet that player is on a pace for 240 strikeouts?
Yeah, 200 would. I don't know if 100 was a stigma, but if it was, then certainly 200 is.
Burnett is going to give way to Casilla eventually. Looked for a while like Burnett wanted to make the catch himself. He yielded to the second baseman, who's made both putouts here in the 7th. It's time to hang with the majors again at Toby Keith's Bar and Grill in St. Louis Park. Raise important money for the Minnesota Military Family Foundation. You must reserve a spot at this private function. You can choose a table or an individual bar stool. And Ken Herbeck was up here last night when I read this, and when I got to the words individual bar stool,
liked that.
His face lit up like a Christmas tree. Enjoy an exclusive dinner with a lot of the Twins players. The date is June 11th. Make your plans tonight to hang with the majors. Visit twinsbaseball.com. Click on the community tab.
When there's a pop fly straight up in the infield, like, get the pitcher out of the way. Someone take charge of that, and Lexi Casilla does. You don't want the pitcher anywhere near that thing at all. And good job by Lexi taking charge there. Somebody in the infield's got to do that and run the pitcher off.
Well, now what you just said there flies in the face of what I've heard for years, that the pitcher is the best athlete on the team.
Well,
pop up left side this time, and Dozier makes the catch.
We let our colleagues indulge themselves in their fantasy.
3 pop-ups in a quick 7th inning.
Twins baseball on Fox Sports North is brought to you by McDonald's. Quench your thirst. Get any size soft drink or sweet tea for just $1. And by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T. Rethink possible.
It's been a nice ball game for the Twins and their fans here as they go for their first 3-game sweep of the year. There was a 2-game sweep in Detroit not that long ago, but as Roy pointed out, this would be the first 3-game sweep.
Which is the only 3 and 4 is the only sweep counts in my book. So that's what I wasn't thinking about the 2-gamers.
Roberto coming into the ball game. He pitched here the other day, and he'll face Span, Revere, and Mauer. One 1-0 to Span. Started the game with a double, scored a run. And now a strike. 1-1. 3 left-handers in the Oakland bullpen. Fuentes, who was the loser last night. Levens pitched the scoreless inning, and this is the Twins' second look at Roberto. A strike, 2-2.
Wow.
Span goes for a walk, and Ted Barrett burning some holes in the back of his head.
Yeah, that's. I don't think we even need a Fox Trax to see it. That ball's below the knees.
Fox Trax brought to you by Carrier. And a bouncer to second. Jemile Weeks throws him out. 1 down. You can follow the Twins with MLB.com at Bat12 for your iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry, or Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and much more. Text at Bat to 31826 or visit twinsbaseball.com.
back to that pitch that was called a strike on Denard Span. I don't want to make too big a deal out of it, except that it is a big deal when you're up there at the plate. There's such a difference between 2-1 and 1-2 with what you're able to do at the plate, what pitch you're likely to see. And the umpires aren't going to get everything right, but you sure hate to see them miss one when on a count like that, because it changes the whole at bat for a hitter, especially a left-hand hitter like Denard against a tough left-hander like Norberto as a relief pitcher.
No one expects perfection,
no.
And umpires are working very hard to do their jobs. Their surveys say that they get 95% of the balls and strikes called correctly. But just step back from that and think about that. There's roughly 300 pitches thrown in every inning. That's 15 pitches. And depending on the situation, any of those 15 pitches can, as you say, drastically alter the at-bat, and because of that, drastically alter the game.
Well, that's right. And if they're getting 5% of the pitches in a ball game incorrectly, and there are, pick a number of pitches. For round numbers, if there are 300 pitches in a game, there's 15 pitches that they're missing that, could really, as you say, they would alter. They certainly alter.
Good foul. Everybody okay?
They certainly alter an at bat or two, if not the game in many situations. So, wow.
Don't see many fouls like that off the handle of the bat, it looked like, over by the photographer's section. Two Hopper to Pennington. He's got to hurry and does. 2 down. And Mauer will hit next. Are the team's offseason free agent acquisitions living up to expectations? Tyler Mesa analyzes how Ryan Domit, Josh Willingham, and Jamie Carroll are playing so far at FoxSportsNorth.com. Without advocating it, I think everybody realizes that we have the technology now to have a ball go through the strike zone, and before it reaches the catcher's mitt, there could be a green light or a red light calling it ball or strike. And I don't know if that's necessarily the direction anybody wants it to go.
I'm willing to live with it. Nobody's perfect. I'm willing to live with the fact that umpires are going to get some calls wrong. I won't even say make mistakes. They're trying hard, and sometimes they just get them wrong. that's just the way it is. I just hated there are certain counts where you just, I know you get it wrong, but not that one, okay? 1-1, 2-1 were the worst for me. Because it changed the at-bat so significantly, more than the first ball pitch, more than 0-0 or 1-0. 1-1 going to 1-2 is a lot worse than 2-1. 2-1 going to 2-2 is a lot worse than 3-1 when you're hitting. And those were the counts where I really wanted the umpire to get them right. And you think about guys complain the most of getting called out on strike 3, but that's really on the hitter more, because the ball's close enough with 2 strikes most of the time. It's close enough where the guy's going to miss one. You can't really take an awful lot of pitches that are really, really close. We look at the last pitch. Here's a nasty pitch, a left-hander to a left-hander right on. That's a perfect pitch. You can't hit that pitch.
A couple of swings and a couple of foul balls prior to this at bat. Mauer, instead of being the designated hitter, has been the designated statue. He's walked 3 times on 13 pitches.
But as I say, just to sum up, the 1-1 count and the 2-1 count were the biggest counts for me for an umpire to get them right, I think.
Norberto fires to first. He gets 3 ground ball outs and a 1-2-3-7. fans here, students and adults alike, watching our Jimmy John's delivery of the game, Francisco Liriano.
And Francisco Liriano, very, very good today. All 3 pitches in the strike zone a majority of the time, or down there where the hitters were swinging and missing. He had a real nice outing, a real nice comeback out of the bullpen, back on the starting role, and I think a real major step forward.
Oh my. Drew Butera rolling around in the dirt after getting a foul tip. Butera still bent in half.
Boy, those guys back there just get beat up. We've seen it, and even just in this series, in this homestand, we've seen guys just getting hammered. We saw the guys getting in the mask. As Timmy Laudner, our colleague, would say, you have to be a dog to go back there.
Well, suffice it to say, Butera did not get hit in the mask, but we've had a lot of foul tips off the mask in this series.
And that one right there just staggered Kurt Suzuki. That was one of the toughest ones that I've seen in a long time. And then Ryan Dolan last night got into the act as well. And, you know, I don't care how much mask you have on. That's jarring.
And it's anybody's guess at this point. There's that slow breaking ball. We haven't seen Burnett throw it that much. It's anybody's guess when we get to Cleveland what the status of Carlos Santana, the Indian catcher, will be, because he was put on the disabled list, the 7-day concussion list, because of a foul tip. Butera comes out of the box and throws to Morneau. Crisp retired one away.
Well, again, you got to shake it off, because you may be needed here right away, and Drew is. You got to come fire it out of there and go get that ball. And a guy runs as well as Coco Crisp does. Nice play by Drew. It's a nice play anyway, but it's especially a nice play right there in that situation.
And a strike to Cliff Pennington. Strikeout and a liner to left. Breaking ball that hangs outside. Good chance for Burnett here, who had a 1-2-3 seventh and just a handful of pitches. Chance to work a couple of innings rather than just one.
And work on some things. Work on the 2 fastballs that he has. There's a 4-seamer that we just saw. We've also seen him throw a 2-seamer. Last inning, real good movement on the 2-seamer. There it is there. Slow curveball, as you mentioned, and then a slider. And Alex Burnett has real good stuff. His issues, if he ever has any, has been either getting behind hitters like he is now 3-1, or getting ahead and not finishing them off, throwing something in the middle of the plate that they could hit.
4 up, 4 down, but now a 1-out walk to the number 9 batter. And that'll bring up Jemile Weeks. Jim Miller warming up in the Oakland pen. Weeks 1 for 3. The A's, as we have said, have been shut out 8 times already this year. 4 times in the last 2 weeks. And Liriano and Burnett so far have gone 7 1/3 innings without allowing a run on just 3 hits. A strike on the outside corner.
And to that point, Jemile Weeks here, one of only 2 Oakland A's hitters that have gotten as far as second base.
Yeah.
Weeks in the 3rd inning. Cowgill got there, hit a double in the 1st. They have not had a runner as far as second base since the 3rd inning.
Also have not had a ground ball double play today.
Thank you.
2 of them on the outside corner, so Burnett Struggled with his control in the Pennington plate appearance, but now he's back on the beam here for weeks. Liner to second. Double play. Pennington thought he got back. No ground ball double plays, but a couple of line drive double plays. And Burnett gets 6 outs from 6 batters. Former team drove in all 3 runs in the 9th inning last night. A 3-run home run that turned a 2-0 loss into a 3-2 win. And he's backed it up today with an RBI single and a 2-run homer.
Yeah, I would say 3 pretty good at bats in less than 24 hours here for Josh Willingham. That ball he hit today, an absolute rocket into the deep second deck from target field.
Jim Miller coming into the ball game for the 9th time. We've tried to impress upon you how good this Oakland bullpen has been so far this year, and Miller's been a big part of it.
Well, when the offense is throwing up averages that are hovering as a team near the Mendoza line, you got to think that the games that they've won have been because the A's have pitched pretty well, and this bullpen is a tough bullpen. The Mendoza line coined by my friend Don Baylor for Mario Mendoza, who always struggled to get above 200.
Mario was shortstop?
Shortstop.
Yeah.
Really good defensive player. Could never hit much. And Donnie.
Well, please don't be offended by this, but that was almost the norm. There were a lot of shortstops that were on the field because they could field and not because they could hit. Mark Belanger might have been one of the better fielding shortstops in history, but he was never much of a hitter.
Right. Yeah, I was part of an era of guys that kind of changed that, and it was really fun. We all there was a camaraderie. David Concepcion and Alan Trammell and Robin Yount and me, not to throw myself in with such great players necessarily, but all had the ability to get some hits and hit the ball at the ballpark and play the position. That was fun. And then, of course, the quintessential guy came along right after us, Cal Ripken.
Strike on the outside corner, 2-2.
I've said before, sometimes you take pitches because you want to, and sometimes you take them just because you can't hit them. Throwing hard on the outside corner, that's just not what you can hit.
Slow breaking ball. Willingham will head to the dugout, 1 away.
So you see a 90-plus mile an hour fastball on the outside corner, and then a slider that starts out looking like a fastball inside and breaks back on the corner. And I just have to tell you, at this point in time on getaway day, you got a bat, son. You better be swinging.
We're about 2 hours and 8 minutes into this game, and we're in the bottom of the 8th inning. Last night, I think we were in the 4th inning at that point.
Umpires have some place to go to today.
That's true. 1-0 to Justin Morneau. Hitting the leg by a pitch his last time up. Officially 0 for 2. Two and 0. Big swing by Morneau. Almost out of his shoes.
I got to tell you, for about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3, I was watching Justin at the plate, and he just, the old days, the old times, he's called, looks hitterish.
Yeah.
And he's standing up there looking like he's seeing the ball well, looking like he has real confidence in his swing now, that nothing's going to hurt, that he can get the big end of the bat to the ball without any excess trying or excess movement. He just looks like Justin again for the first time in almost 2 years. It's a great sight. It really is.
Pop straight up in the air and back. Three and 2. Jeff Gray warming up. Alex Burnett's given the Twins 2 good innings. Gray might get the night. Way out in front of the off-speed pitch at 71 miles per hour. Morneau strikes out. 2 down. Coming up on Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. We'll have highlights of the game, focusing on the starting pitcher, Francisco Liriano. Ron Gardenhire's comments after the game. And our instructional that I assume will feature Tim Laudner.
That is going to feature Mr. Laudner. I'm going to stand in his way as a hitter as he works around me throwing to third. And
okay.
I might run down to third and talk about tagging the runner a little bit. But it's going to be mainly Timmy talking about the catcher's footwork.
Behind first, Barton in the outfield. Grass now into foul territory makes the catch. And Miller has a quick 1, 2, 3, 8th inning. The Cubs come to town beginning June 8th. That Friday night, will feature the world-famous Budweiser Clydesdale. And check on ticket availability for the Cup Series. Visit twinsbaseball.com or call 800-33-TWINS. As the game reset, the Twins getting a couple of runs in the first and really haven't seriously been threatened since, and credit Francisco Liriano for that.
Absolutely. A real promising start for Francisco Liriano. Coming back out of the bullpen after working to correct some mechanical flaws in his delivery or try to change some things around at least with his delivery, and showing some real progress there today against Oakland. 6 really good innings.
Colin Cowgill will lead off the 9th inning for Oakland against Jeff Gray.
You know what I liked about, excuse me, Dick, but what I liked about Liriano's outing today, probably more than anything, is that there were times when he showed flashes of starting to lose it a little bit, and he was able to right himself and get back in the strike zone. And that, I think that, as much as anything else, has got to be what pitching coach Rick Anderson and manager Ron Gardenhire will look at it and say, now that is something different. We have not seen that for a while, where he would give up a 4-pitch walk before it was that meant trouble. Today he was able to get himself back in the strike zone and get out of the inning.
Now, if you had a struggling pitcher, a struggling starting pitcher that you desperately needed to get things turned around dramatically, and you needed to set for that pitcher a foundation from which to build, you would want to do it, I would think, against a team struggling to hit, struggling to score runs. And so, to be fair, let's remind everyone this Oakland A lineup is really struggling. By coincidence or not, it was a good matchup for Liriano today.
Yeah, that was the planets kind of aligned for him today. There's no question about that. That this is not the most dangerous hitting ball club right now that there is in Major League Baseball.
Cowgill strikes out, and Gray gets the first out of the night.
Good fastball here by Gray. Pumps it right down the middle, 93 miles an hour. Middle of the zone, just inside, ties up Cowgill. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Josh Reddick takes a strike. Pretty well to left field. Willingham short of the track makes the catch out number 2. If you want to learn the basics of baseball, stay tuned to Twins Live presented by CenturyLink, as we'll be discussing catcher's footwork with Tim Laudner. Roy Smalley will be his dance partner, and Mr. Blylevitt not involved because I believe he's already in Florida. He'll be taking some time off. I'll be working a road trip with Ron Coomer. I'm assuming you'll be involved in the pre- and post-game shows or not?
I am not involved in pre- and post-game shows for a little while. Next week we'll come back.
Close play. Gomes retired, and the Twins start the homestand with 3 losses against the Detroit Tigers. They finish it with 3 wins against the Oakland A's, and we'll enjoy the off day tomorrow with a short 3-game winning streak. Big road trip coming up with the Twins taking on the Cleveland Indians, who were in first place. And the thing to take out of this game, Roy Smalley, is the start 6 shutout innings for Francisco Liriano.
I think that's very, very promising. I know that Ron Gardenhire and Rick Anderson, coaching staff, very, very encouraged by this. The players are encouraged, and to come in and on this homestand, come back and get 3 really nice wins in a row for these home fans, I think very, very important at this time of the year. Fans will continue to support the club, even though it's been a little bit tough, and you know, to sweep Oakland, I think was a big deal.
A little over 35,000 to paid attendance here, and the fan support has been very good throughout the first 2 months of the season, and the Twins close out the month of May on a high note with a 3-game losing streak, but there have been obviously more low points than high points so far. But as we have discussed, as the Twins move forward now into June, if they're going to make this season relevant in terms of competitiveness in the division, need some longer winning streaks. They need some good starting pitching and some more power hitting from Josh Willingham is joining us down on the field. Josh, a pretty good 24 hours for you. A 3-run game-winning home run last night, 3 more runs batted in. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a great night last night, and a big win for us. And then today also, we got out to a start and had some great pitching from Frankie, and that was great to see as well.
Josh, this is Roy Smalley. I just want to marvel at you and with you a little bit. What a great job of hitting the first inning, driving the ball with a runner on third base, driving the ball the other way, trying to stay in the center of the field. I know that was your plan. And then later on getting a ball that you could go ahead and turn on. But those are 2 examples of 2 different approaches at the plate. You did them both beautifully.
Thank you. Yeah, I was trying to be aggressive, in the first at bat, and been seeing a lot of sliders lately from these guys and everybody else. So sort of looking for a slider, and he threw one out over the plate, and I was able to get a good extension on it and drive a run in, and then kind of the same thing on the home run. It was another slider out over the plate, and I was able to kind of get extended on it and hit it out front and hit it out of the ballpark.
Josh, what's it mean as a member of the starting lineup, the left fielder, to see a starting pitcher, in this case it happens to be Liriano, give this team 6 shutout innings and hanging up 1-0 after another?
Well, we still feel like he's going to be a big part of this team. He hasn't had the start that he's wanted or we'd wanted for him. But, he's going to be a big part of this team, and for us to be as good as we can be, we need him to be like he was today, to go out and give us a good, solid start and give us a chance to win, and it was great to see.
Josh, thank you very much. Enjoy the off day tomorrow, and we'll see you on the plane ride to Cleveland tomorrow night.
All right, guys. Thanks.
All right.
Nice hitting, Josh.
Thank you.
That's remarkable to have a player like Willingham, who's kind of carried this team offensively anyway, have a really good 24 hours. Anthony LaPanta, 3 runs batted in last night in the 9th, and a quick start for the Twins slugger today.
8 runs batted in his last 4 games, and Minnesota has their first home series sweep since June of last year. We'll show you how they did it. Hear from Gardy next on Twins Live.